while they were within the community, they were having drunk sex parties.
Oh man, why'd you leave?
Because the people having the drunk sex parties left.
Oh man. Well, did you get invited after the fact? Like once you finally left, did they invite you?
Not exactly. They're not really doing that anymore. I did get a lap dance from a witch once with one of those friends. So that was sort of a moment where I was like, hey, this is probably as far as from I ever thought I would be.
What do you mean a lap dance from a witch? What did that entail? Dylan?
Yes.
How are you, Dylan?
I'm good. How are you?
I am a gecko on the computer. I wonder how many more times I can say that before it gets old. What's going on with you, Dylan?
Do you want to start broadly or right now?
That's a really good question. Do I want to start broadly or right now? I kind of want to start with... You know what? Let's start broadly. Okay, well, I mean, listen, it says here that you left the Jehovah's Witnesses a couple years ago, and you want to talk about that.
Yes, broadly.
You know what? Let's get into it. Tell me about the JW.
All right. Well, I know you've had some people on here or have had experience with it. I mean, my experience was very explosive with how I left. I mean, I don't want to get too far into how it really started with like everything. I was in it for 22 years, my whole life.
22 years. Well, you're 24. All right, so you were in it from the time you were a little
25.
baby. You were a little baby knocking door to door, spreading the good word.
With a tiny briefcase and a diaper. Yep.
It's kind of adorable.
But many doors were slammed in that baby's face, so I handle rejection really well.
Man, must feel good to slam a door in a baby's face. Anyway, all right. So you start off, you're a little baby, Jehovah's Witness boy, and you know, tell me about what that was like growing up in that community.
It was. I mean, it had its ups and downs. I mean, I really truly can't say that it was all bad. I mean, I have my family with me, and I love my family, and I loved a lot of the friends that I had made, whether it was just because they were there or I actually pursued a friendship with them, because there's a lot of forced friendship in that culture.
Of course.
But, you know, I never, ever truly felt 100% on it. I wanted to go 100% on it so badly because everyone else in my family was such a golden star in it. You know, like my sisters both were into it. Like my mom has made missionary trips to Africa. Like they're crazy. Like,
right, so you're in
it.
this community and everybody around you believes, and so you really want to believe.
Truly, yeah. Like I wanted to wake up every day and just be like, I have this connection with God, you know, and he's really guiding me. But I never felt like that. It was all me and what I did. Whether that was, you know, actually putting effort into it or being a complete blob and not giving a shit about like getting farther in it, you know?
And you said just now, you said something that I thought was kind of interesting where you were like, a lot of these friendships are forced, but you alluded a little bit to having, if I'm interpreting this correctly, you alluded a little bit to having at least a few friendships that you pursued intentionally. Is that true? Do you feel like you made some genuine friends in this community?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And interestingly enough, a couple of these true friends are now also exited. And
Right.
I am still. I'm going to an LS Dream concert on Friday with a couple of them. So that will be fun.
Yeah, it would make sense that the people that you would, sort of hook up with there are also people who are like, hey, what the fuck's going on with all this stuff?
Oh, yeah, no, totally. And they left before me, but they could not believe that I left when I did, because everyone viewed me as a golden child as well, even though internally I never felt that way.
How did you feel being viewed as a golden child? Was that like pressure on you?
It's funny you should say that, because I didn't realize they viewed me as a golden child until after I had left, and they told me they weren't inviting me to the like drunk sex parties they were having.
Who wasn't inviting? Oh, with the people within the community, or the people who left the community were having the drunk sex parties?
While they were within the community, they were having drunk sex parties.
Oh man, why'd you leave?
Because the people having the drunk sex parties left.
Oh.
No,
okay. All right. So here's what I'm hearing here is like there's a little gang of defectors in here. There's a little gang of people who are like, hey, what's going on? And you secretly are a defector, but the defectors, they look at you as a golden boy because you're trying to believe. So like outwardly it would make sense that you're giving off this golden boy air to you. Is that accurate?
Sort of. I mean, I wasn't a defector until the day I decided I wanted to leave. I believed up until a certain moment. There was always a part of me that believed in it and was scared of it. But I also had a rebellious streak inside me that wanted to, like, get out there and do shit that I wasn't supposed to. But these people didn't give a shit earlier than I did, and I was much better at avoiding those situations. So, which is why they never invited me to their drunk sex parties.
Man. Well, did you get invited after the fact? Like once you finally left, did they invite you?
Not exactly. They're not really doing that anymore because they're adults that are trying to be slightly more good. I did get a lap dance from a witch once with one of those friends, so that was sort of a moment where I was like, hey, this is probably as far as from I ever thought I would be.
What do you mean a lap dance from a witch? What did that entail?
We had gone to a concert, and one of my friends met this, or had reconnected with this crazy Wiccan girl, and we ended up at a penthouse suite in Boston, and she was giving lap dances to everyone while we were all fucking blasted. And I just was like, had this go away from Jesus moment. I guess it's the complete opposite of come to Jesus. But my God, I'm getting a lap dance from a witch right now.
Yeah.
And a year ago, I was trying to get people to open the good book.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting that you defected, whatever the word is, because I actually was approached on the street by a sort. I don't think they were Mormons; they were Christians, but they were religious people. And when I was talking to them, they were very, very convinced. No part of my brain felt like these people would ever budge on what it is that they were spreading the good word of. So it feels like whatever's going on in these communities, I mean, they're tight. You know, the people who,
Oh.
who really truly believe, I mean, they fucking believe.
Yeah, it's 100% a cult, and a lot of people don't know that. It's starting to get out there, but it's super controlling, like scarily so. Obviously didn't really realize that until doing external research after I had decided to leave. But like, I could never go back now. Obviously, like I've taken the red pill, you know, or whatever, whichever fucking pill he took. I took one of those.
So tell me, all right, so this was only 2 years ago. It's fairly recent. So as a 22-year-old young man who's been living in this, it sounds to me, restrictive community for a while, you deflect, whatever the word of the day is that we've been using, that I've been using a shit ton. All right.
Yeah.
And what are some of the first things you do as a free man, you know, that you haven't been able to do for the 22 first years? What were some of the first ventures into, I guess, hedonism that you embarked upon?
Well, I think literally the day after I decided to leave, I installed Tinder, which makes sense for a young man at that age. Still have it, so it's not something I've grown out of. But I immediately met a girl and dated her for 6 months, and I was a virgin until I hadn't even kissed a girl. I was 20, almost 22. I think I was just about to turn 22 at the time, and never even kissed a girl. So that was interesting and crazy. Trying to figure out maybe if I was bisexual or gay or anything. I realized I'm straight, so I'm boring as fuck. But you know, that was in period I tried out, because I'm super not Christian anymore at all, and I don't have any of those leanings. But not that I have anything against it, as long as people aren't oppressing other people. But what else? I mean, drugs, but not really anything that crazy. Just like weed, which I don't like. So I'm like, why couldn't that have worked out for me, of all things?
So I feel like there's gotta be, I mean, after 22 years of all that stuff, I feel like there's gotta be a significant, like, adjustment going on. There's gotta be a little bit of a period of going like, well, like getting out of jail, like, well, what the fuck do I do now?
Oh, it's fucking nuts. Like, well, the way it happened was I was before I decided I wanted to leave, I was super depressed. A couple of times I was borderline suicidal, and I had never been suicidal in my life. And I didn't ever try anything, but it was just getting to a point where it was completely unsustainable. And so what happened is I was sitting at the meeting. They call them Kingdom Halls, but it's really just a church. So I'm sitting at the meeting, and I'm out of my mind. I can't focus. I felt horrible. And all of a sudden it just popped into my mind, why don't I look up some stuff or material that people who have left have written. So during this fucking meeting, preaching to me, I'm sitting there. It's actually what we call the circuit overseer visit. So like this Grand Poobah character is here visiting, trying to like build us all up with his grandeur. And I'm looking up this shit, and it took 3 paragraphs of that online article or essay to completely dissolve what was left of my faith. Yeah. And I looked up, I'm not fucking crazy. I don't, it's not that I am not fitting into a place where I should be fitting in. It's that I don't have to fit in at all. And I should not be oppressing and suppressing my character for the sake of even people that I love, because it's just not sustainable.
Yeah, so to that point, you say for the people that you love, tell me tell me about the process of like reconciling this with your family.
That was crazy, because that happened like a day or two after. I was obviously having a lot of inner turmoil and thoughts about it. My mind was racing, and reading all this material after the fact, after the waking up process had really gone underway. I was at work one day cleaning windows, which is a super fucking common profession for witnesses. If anyone else in the chat used to be in there, it's always a joke that witnesses clean windows because it's easy to get. But I decided, I'm like, I need to call my family right now and tell them, because this is on my mind. So like one by one, I just started calling people while I was doing my job on my Bluetooth headset. And just one by one, each of them just completely dumbfounded and aghast and, crying and begging me to change my mind and somewhat gaslighting me, like, we won't be able to talk to you anymore. And I'm like, I can't. So my sisters and my mom and pretty much a couple other people, that was the last time I've spoken to them.
Really? So in the past 2 years, you haven't spoken to your sister or your mom at all?
My sisters and my mom have not spoken to me or reached out at all.
What about
my
your
dad? My dad a couple times, but that's gotten worse because with the whole Ukraine and Russia thing going on, they think that it's the end times. So I think that they're really doubling down on their own indoctrination for the sake of their own mental health. And it was crazy because when I moved out, I lived 3 minutes from my sister. And I remember one day I went up to her house with her recently married husband, who opened the door. And because I just was like, I just want to go see. I want to see what happens if I go to see her after all this has happened.
You just went to her house, like on a whim.
On a whim, after work one day.
Sure.
It had been maybe months since I had left. And I went up to the door. Her husband opened the door, and he didn't invite me in. Like, I was with them on their first date. Like, this is like not somebody I don't know. Like, this is my sister's husband, who I was courting period. He was so awkward, and I asked for a glass of water because I kind of wanted to test it and see if I could get inside. Yeah. And he brought it out. And I was like, okay, this is how it's going to be. And so I was like, hey, is Maddie not going to come in or come out? He's like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, okay. So I turned around and I got back in my car, and that's the last attempt at like physical contact with family. I mean, that was during the height of COVID too. So anyway.
So man, how do you feel about all of this? Is that painful for you? I'd have to imagine.
It ebbs and flows. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm a robot because I will think about my family and have almost no feeling at all. Mm-hmm. And that kind of, because I'm not a sociopath but I don't feel like I have the proper feelings to process it. Like, I barely cry about it. I sobbed once at a friend's house while I was high on weed and a little bit drunk, and something just set me off. And that felt good. And I wish I could do that more.
You have a desire to be more in touch with your emotions about everything.
Oh, I wish I could just sob for hours about the trauma I've faced. But, there's just like a block.
Yeah.
Other times I'm angry, just pissed at them that I don't care that they believe in the religion. I don't care that they have a different belief system than me. I just want them to recognize that I'm the same person and I'm not some hideous gargoyle of sin, you know?
Yeah, I'd be fucking pissed if I were you. I'd be like, what the fuck? I'm your brother. I'm your son. Who gives a fuck about all this stupid, God stuff? It's like, can't you see what's really important here?
Oh, totally. Well, especially since my dad lost his dad he died at 62, just having he was walking down the street and had a heart attack. And I'm like, if he would give anything to see you again, or vice versa. And yet I am your son that you held in your arms, and you could have me right now,
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's just baffling to me. Like, I can't imagine doing that to my future children. Like, and I want to have children. And I'm like, how I can't mentally parse what could tear you away from a child, especially if they're not like a fucking murderer or a rapist or, I don't know, something
You're just
horrible.
a guy.
Even murderers' parents still love them. Like, you hear about it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Tell me about, well, I mean, so Dylan, like, what's your life like now? Like, all right, so at the very beginning of this call, we were like, okay, broad, and then right now. I feel like we covered the broad. Before we go, let's cover the now. Where are we? Do we have friends? Do we have, I know that things have been pretty fucking tough with the family. But it sounds like you got cool friends. It sounds like I'm getting bits and pieces here of like, you have a support system of some kind. You're not just like hanging out in the wind. What's going on now?
Oh, it's true. I mean, I really value the friends. I think I need to work on valuing the friends I have rather than the amount of friends I want. And it's unfortunate because I don't always want to just connect with other ex-witnesses. I want to connect with people who aren't, because I don't even want to consider myself an ex-witness. I don't want to be Dylan, the person who left the religion. I want to be Dylan, just Dylan.
Yep, absolutely.
But I really do have good friends, and I mean, I have a job where like people appreciate me, and I just got promoted and certified in my job. I'm a chimney sweep now. So that's really cool. And that's been going great, and I can support myself really well. And it's all at the expense of leaving. Like, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and have my own apartment and pay my bills on time and have a good job and can afford to go out and have fun sometimes. And it's like, I really need to look at that more often and be like, you are really fucking fortunate that you...
Yeah. What were you going to say? I feel like I cut you off, but as you were going to go on a self-motivational thing. I want to let you finish that.
I can try. I can attempt to rouse myself from the ashes, but I think the biggest problem that I'm facing right now is that I'm single, which means I don't have very much intimacy, and that doesn't include just sex. It's just, I'm talking like heart to heart with somebody that is dedicated to you, or at least is wanting to get to know you. So that's tough. Because pretty much the family that I make for myself is going to be the family I have for the foreseeable future. Like, think I can't assume my family will leave someday and then reconnect with me. So not having that is tough.
Well, Dylan, I look, before we go, I want to say all the sort of rousing yourself up that you were doing. I think it's well earned. I mean, it takes a lot of fucking balls to be born into this life path that's set up for you, and set up for you pretty damn hard. And having these people who you at a young age are like supposed to trust really hard. Your mom, your dad, your sister. I mean, the closest people, the people that are supposed to be the most worthy of your trust, lay out this path for you. And then for you to just, from within, deflect from that and decide for yourself what the right thing to do is, and then go, and then to have those thoughts, to surmise those thoughts and those feelings and the desire to deflect is one thing, and then to act on it against what everyone who you're supposed to trust is telling you. I mean, that takes fucking guts. That takes a lot of guts. And the fact that you were able to do that, and now you've got this job, you've got friends, you got a fucking apartment that you're paying the rent on. I'm sure you'll have a girlfriend soon. You've built a life for yourself, not just from I don't even want to say from scratch. Like you had worse circumstances than scratch. You were like in the negative. You had to get out of that one life and then build a new one from scratch. I mean, that's damn impressive. You definitely should be proud of yourself for all of that, Dylan. And man, I wish you the best. I'm inspired by you, by anyone who's brave enough to forge their own path. So props to you, and thank you very much for sharing all of that with all of us. You've been on a crazy journey, and I know you mentioned that you want to be able to process your emotions better. I hope you're able to do that. That sounds like some real therapy type of stuff that I hope you're able to get a hold of. But damn, you're an impressive fucking guy, Dylan. For real.
Well, that means a hell of a lot from a anthropomorphic lizard. I really appreciate it.
Of course, man. Of course.
Definitely negative tonight. I appreciate it so much.
Of course, man. Thank you again for sharing.
Thanks, Lyle. Love you, bud.
Take care, Dylan.
Bye.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes?
Hello. Is this Elisa?
This is Elisa. Hello. How are you doing tonight?
I'm hanging out, Elisa. I'm a gecko on the computer. I'm living life as best as I can, I hope. What's going on with you?
Well, I just had some positivity to share with you today.
Oh, please. Hit me.
So, on the topic of large boobs, I actually had gigantic, huge boobs, and I recently got them chopped.
And the
positive news,
chopped.
Yes, I did. And the positive news about this is that it is the most life-changing thing, most positive thing I could have ever done for myself, and I feel like a new woman completely, a new person. I feel free.
What inspired you to do the chopping?
So, having large boobs is very difficult. It actually hinders your movement a lot more than I realized until now. And I can't buy like bras anywhere. I have to like special order them for like $70 or $80 because like I had huge boobs. Like I had to buy like custom bras. And yeah, I can like run up the stairs quickly. It's crazy. I'm just like, my life has completely changed. They took off 10 pounds or like a little over 10 pounds.
10 pounds
off my
each or
chest.
10 pounds total?
I think it was total.
Total. So I'm curious. So, how long have you had large boobs? And then what was like the final straw where you're like, all right, I'm getting rid of these guys?
Well, funny story is the first time I remember my boobs like getting in the way of my life, I was actually in 3rd grade. And I remember I like forgot to wear my like training bra to 3rd grade, which is like way too early to have a training bra. And I forgot to wear it. And I remember like calling my mom from the office, and I was too nervous to say the word bra. So I just called and I was like, Mom, I forgot my underwear. Like, I don't have my undergarments, because I didn't want to say anything. And
because you're like because you're like on the phone while like whatever the principal or office person is all like watching you and shit.
Oh yeah, and I went to a Catholic school, so they're like staring at me on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, yeah, can you bring this? And she was like, well, you'll just last to the end of the day. It'll be fine. I was uncomfortable all day, and I got home, and my mom was like, why the hell didn't you put on underwear this morning? And I was like, no, I didn't wear my bra, and it was really uncomfortable. And then ever since then, it's been like exponential each year, like how big they got. And, I was having a lot of back pain when I got into college, and just genuinely uncomfortable, like couldn't do things. Like the pendulum on my chest would just like drag me in several directions anytime I tried to be active or like, move my body like a normal human. And I think I finally got up to a 38N, and I was like, all right, like I literally can't do this anymore. Like I've got to get a reduction. So yeah.
So they were growing. So they just never stopped growing.
That's what I think. That's my theory. Because they were bigger every single year. Like I always was replacing bras, and like I said, these things are not cheap.
Mm-hmm. So you went from a N to what are you now?
I'm like a handful now. I don't even know what I am. I haven't even measured. I'm like wearing sports bras every day, sometimes braless. I would guess that I'm like a D or C now, which to me is like minuscule and very tiny, and I'm very happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a good PSA for other people who are struggling with similar issues.
Oh, yes. I 100% recommend it. I know a lot of people kind of get caught up in, like, the male gaze or, like, self-worth things, and I know that can be hard. But if you can get through that, like, truly, I feel, like, so free. I was asked the other day by my partner, like, what amount of money I would, like, exchange now knowing how I feel. And, like, the amount of money that I would exchange for how I feel right now and, like, every morning is, like, infinite. Like, I would pay like all the money I ever earned in my life to feel like this. Legitimately.
Really? Okay, so if somebody offered you $10 million to go back to the old boobs, to the 38 ends, you would turn it down?
Oh my God. Yeah, I'd turn it down. For sure.
So
it's like low-key debilitating.
So
it's kind of like a disability almost.
Yeah, dude, you should be able to, if you have over a certain cup size, you should be able to hang one of those disabled things in your windshield and get park in those spots.
Well, I don't know about that, but it's definitely bad. There's a lot of things I could not do.
So, were there, and it sounds like, obviously after the fact, after the surgery took place, you're like, okay, so glad I did it. It was debilitating and I'm in a new place. But, I mean, beforehand, before you knew how great it was going to be, did you have any apprehensions going into it? Was there any part of you thinking not to do it? Or was it a very much gung-ho, no regrets, go for it decision from the beginning that it happened, that you decided?
I would say, like, at the very beginning, when it first popped into my head, I was still, like, working on some, like, yeah, like self-worth issues or like dealing with the male gaze. And like, I'm not going to lie, like I had really nice boobs. They were awesome. I will say a lot of people would be envious of the boobs I had. They were like damn near symmetrical too. They were awesome. But as the thought entered my head for the first time, every time after that, I just got closer and closer to being like, well, I don't actually care because I want to be able to like move my body and like not spend $80 on bras. And then, yeah, it just escalated until I was like, I actually got on the wait list for the surgery center and I told them to like call me if any spots opened up. And one day they called me and they were like I was supposed to be seen in like 2 months. Yeah, and they were like 2 days. Like, you just got to get a COVID test. You got to be with the anesthesia screener, make it down here. And I was like, deal. I called into work, took a week off. I was like, I'm busy. Went up there and did it. It was awesome.
So before we go, tell us some other things that you can now do now after the surgery that you couldn't do before, so that we get a idea of how debilitating it was to have end cups.
Now I can go for walks comfortably and easily. Soon I'm going to be able to run with doctor's orders. I did a somersault the other day. Pretty sick.
Oh yeah, you can't be doing somersaults with ends.
Oh hell no! That shit is not comfortable at all.
That would like hit you in the face and knock you unconscious.
Oh, yeah. Like, I bet you I could hang upside down now. I could not do that shit before. I would start choking. Dead ass. So, yeah, I don't know. It's really awesome. I can do a lot of stuff. I'm really excited to, like, oh, yeah, clothes. I can buy normal-sized clothes now. Like, I don't know. I can just be, in general, like, more active. And the more I heal, the more stuff I'm going to be able to do. So, truly, like, if anyone's thinking about it, like, do your research and like go for it. I think the benefits far outweigh the cost.
Well, Alicia, that's your name, right? Elisa.
Alicia.
Yes. Well, Elisa, happy for you on your newfound lease of life. Hopefully, you've inspired other people to gain theirs, and all the power to you. Thank you for sharing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Love the podcast, Gek. Have a good one.
Thank you, Elisa.
Bye.
Hello, Alyssa.
Hello. How are you doing?
I am a gecko on the computer. You know, I've been thinking about this. The audio version of this show, they can't really tell that I'm a gecko. I don't know if they can hear it, and it kind of doesn't matter.
Well,
like, I want everyone.
There's a picture on the podcast screen now, so maybe they kind of put two and two together.
Right. There is a picture on the thing. I mean, I could be recording this not in a gecko thing, and it would be the same thing. But it wouldn't be the same thing, and also because being a gecko affects my words and affects your words and whatnot. I feel like you have a take on this, and I keep interrupting you.
Yeah, I have a lot to say. I think the gecko suit gives it like a little bit more of a oomph, like a lot more effect than maybe you would have if you didn't wear the gecko suit.
It's a little bit of extra. No, I agree with you fully. I think it's a little bit of extra. It's a slight bit of extra anonymousness. I know I'm not anonymous, and my name is on the podcast, and I tell people my name is Lyle and stuff. But it does. Yeah. I do want it to feel like you're just talking to this entity that barely exists. This gecko thing,
like that won't judge you, and
sure.
Yeah, I get what you're going for.
But enough about me and my silly predicaments. What's going on with you, Alyssa?
Well, it's a bit of a long story, so.
What's the? Give me the gist. Let's Tarantino this. Let's start with the. Let's start in the middle.
In the middle, Well, the middle would probably be the worst part. So basically, the middle would be that I found out that I was related to the guy that I was dating. That's the middle.
You know what? That's a great middle. That's a great hook. I'm now interested in, let's hear the full story.
So basically, I met this guy on Tinder. I matched with him, and I really liked him. And we've been dating for about like 6 months now. And a couple weeks ago, we took like a DNA test, like on Ancestry.com. And I guess I should mention that we had the same birthday when we first met. But, you know, a lot of people have the same birthday, so we didn't really think anything of it, you know, just a coincidence. But anyways, back to the story. Okay, so we took it. We noticed we had a lot of similar relatives. And I don't know if you heard the part where I said we had the same birthday. Coincidental, a lot of people have the same birthday. I know like 5 or 6 people that have the same birthday as me. But when we started figuring out we had the same relatives on the Ancestry.com, we were like, okay, this is kind of concerning. So we brought it up to our parents, and sure enough, we are actually twins. And the reason we didn't know is because we were separated a month after we were born, because our parents got separated and one took the other.
And your parents didn't know this?
Well, they didn't know, like they didn't keep in contact with each other. I don't know why. It's really kind of messed up. But, yeah, I know. It's really, really crazy.
So how long were you dating this guy before you found out he was your twin?
6 months.
6 months?
6 months.
Did you guys...
Listen, I don't want to say... Listen, you can't... We neither of us knew. And that's also another thing, like, I feel kind of gross about it, but should I? Because I didn't know.
How do you feel about it?
I do feel kind of gross about it, because, I mean, who wouldn't? But at the same time, like, I also feel so contradicted. Like, should I feel bad when I didn't know? And I also don't know if I should keep in contact with him. He's here, actually.
Oh, he's with you?
He is with me.
Oh. Yeah, let's get him on the phone.
Okay. You want to talk to him right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, here he is.
Hello?
All right, so you had sex with your sister. How do you feel?
Well, we didn't know. It's kind of weird. I don't really like it, but at the same time, I do care about her, and we've been dating for 6 months, and I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you can see how this is conflicting.
Mm-hmm. So what's your guys' relationship like now?
I mean, it's a little awkward now, but it was going really good up until we found that out. But so now it's been a little awkward recently. So yeah, we've just been like thinking about what to do about it.
Have your parents gotten back together with each other when you guys were separated at birth? Was it like one parent kept one kid, one parent kept the other kid type of deal?
Yeah. Our mom kept me, and our dad kept her, and they've both gotten remarried since.
So in these past 6 months, you never introduced either of each other to your family?
Yeah, like I met her parents and she met my parents. They just they had never like obviously we didn't recognize each other because we haven't seen each other since like I was a month old, and because our parents didn't keep in contact, and they just kind of agreed to each take one. I'm not really sure, because we believed our whole lives that what actually was our step-parents was our real parents.
Mm. Yeah, so this is sort of a lot of revelations going on.
Yeah.
At once.
It's a big life thing, not just a relationship. But so our parents have been lying to us for some time, 20 years. So.
Okay. And have your parents, since finding out that you two dated for 6 months, gotten back in contact with each other?
No, I don't really know. It's been kind of awkward. We haven't really talked with our parents that much since finding out, because we've been kind of like upset with them.
Do they know?
Yeah. Yeah, they found out that we're dating. Yeah. They thought it was pretty weird, as you can imagine.
Interesting. So what do we think is next here?
Well, that's kind of why we're calling you Gek, because we were conflicted. We're like, do we keep dating? Do we?
I don't know if I can help out on this one. I think this one might be above my pay grade here. Have you spoken to a real therapist about this?
We have not. No, this is it's fairly recent. Perhaps we should look into that.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's look, it's nice that you guys are still friends.
Yeah.
Friendship's important.
Yeah. It's good. Now I have a sister.
Yeah.
It's a little awkward.
See, I think that's the truth, right? I think you have to look on the bright side of this. You may lose a lover, but you've gained a sister. And that, at the end of the day, is what's important.
Yeah. That's a valid point. I think the time maybe.
Let me talk to her.
All right, here she is.
Hello.
What did you say her name was? Alyssa. Alyssa, I think I was talking with what's your brother's name?
Archer.
Or boyfriend or Archer. Talking with Archer.
Yep.
And I think we've decided that we're going to look on the bright side of this. You have
What's
lost
that?
a lover.
Exactly.
You've lost a lover, but in turn, you've gained a brother, which debatably is more valuable because they'll be with you forever.
I guess you're right about that. I guess that is a positive, I guess, out of the situation.
Totally.
Yep.
Well, thank you very much for calling, Alyssa.
Oh, thank you very much, Gek.
Those two are going to be fine. Those two are going to be fine. They have each other to guide them through thick and thin. I actually think it's beautiful. I'm actually a little jealous, honestly, of how close of a bond they have with one another. I wish I had that kind of closeness with another human being in my life. Those two are blessed. Stevie.
Gex.
What's going on, man?
It's going. How are you?
Oh,
you
crap.
know what? I'm sorry. I've watched your stream so many times, and I really hate when people ask that, because I just feel like you hate people asking you that.
Well, it's not. I'm not mad at the people. I'm not okay. I'm not mad at the people. It's not. It's a common thing to do when you see somebody. You ask them. It's an autopilot thing. I would never be mad at somebody asking how they are. I'm not.
No,
I don't think I'm mad at it. I think I'm mad that it exists as a form of social programming. But that fact that it exists as a form of social programming is nobody's fault in particular. It's just a sort of natural occurrence. So I'm not mad at you or anyone else.
No, I get that. It's the same thing that I get whenever I go to the checkout line at the grocery store and they say like, hey, how are you? Did you find everything okay? And I'm always like, oh, I just feel like it's yeah, you know what I mean.
So, Stevie.
How's it going?
How are you?
Good, man. Well, I got screened and I was just trying to get some insight on a little thing where kind of in the middle of a breakup and kind of sprung upon me and I didn't really, my credit's shit. And, I started going on Craigslist looking for potential roommates and everything just depressed me. So I just was, I started thinking more about the alternative, which is to become a homeless nomad.
Yeah, it says here that you're contemplating becoming homeless.
Yeah, voluntarily. It sounds way more exciting to me than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, okay, tell me what about it feels exciting to you.
Well, yeah, I have a pretty good job. I make really good money, and I'm trying to get away from that. And I just think that I don't have the money to. I want to have more financial freedoms and stuff, but I just feel like renting is kind of a scam. And I just would rather not partake in that, and I'd rather travel and become my own person, really, like it just, the rent and everything, like having a roommate, having to trust someone that you don't really know particularly, and I don't really know what else to do. So all right, so you have a job, and I assume this is like one of those work from home gigs that you're living the laptop lifestyle. Is that what I'm hearing? No, not at all. I'm actually a freelance painter. I do interior homes.
Interesting. Okay, so are you planning on quitting your job, or are you going to keep your job but just not have a place to live?
Yeah, I'm going to keep the job. I started my own business. And, I was just like really thinking more about like taking up new alternatives because, painting is really hard on the body and, it's just really grueling work that I can't do forever. But, it's just like, that just kind of backs up more about what I'm doing with my time. And, I would rather find other avenues, but like renting is just going to slow it down because there's other
I guess I'm trying to get into the logistics of this because so you're a freelance painter. So don't you have to sort of be in one place? Like, is your clientele all sort of centered around one location?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I'm out in, I have a certain town that I work around in, and I've been in this one neighborhood and picking up business like crazy. So yeah, I'm in one place, and I'm currently living in the same place as my girlfriend as we've broken up and everything is cool there. But like, I do have a place I need to be every day.
Right.
Long hours.
Right. So are you planning on shutting down your business to go travel?
Yeah, eventually. But once I get a new thing lined up, like I want to become kind of a digital nomad and travel around and just experience the world in my own on my own terms, you know?
Yeah, man. I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to travel around and, as you say, experience the world on your own terms. And it sounds like, so I guess what's the financial situation here? Do we have a nest egg of some kinds or something?
Yeah,
where
like
you're not
that's
going to
kind of the problem. I've always had a problem with money. Like, it's always been my thing. Like, and that's the reason why this relationship kind of shit the bed. And so my girlfriend kind of had enough of it. I didn't know what else to do, and I'm just trying, like, and now it's just kind of like more of a thing that I've had to deal with that's been presented to me with this breakup. You know, I think you learn everything. You learn some out of anything. There's always something to be learned from it. And this was a pretty serious relationship of 3 years. I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her, but like with this whole thing with finances, I said that that's fair. And I'm just like, all right, well, you know, if anything to be taken from it is that I'm going to be more financially stable. And with that, I'm like, well, you know, everyone I tell about becoming homeless, they kind of, you know, I'm 35 right now, and they're like, kind of get a little, nobody really supports my decision, but I'm kind of firm on what I want to do.
Okay, so when you say you're firm on what you want to do, are we talking about this right now from your headspace of, look, I'm going to do it, but we're just, you know, here I'm going to talk about it. Are you firm in this plan?
You know, the other part of it is going on to, and I don't think this is a healthier thing to be doing at the moment because I'm still kind of processing the breakup, but like, I started going back onto the internet webs of dating, and that's the only thing that deters me from doing this, because I've started talking to some other girls, and, you know, it's just like, how do you... Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, can I come over tonight? And you're like, well, about that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know it's just silly, and it's just kind of probably a distraction more than a really serious thing, and it's probably not cool of me to even interact with anybody at this moment. But
well, hold on now. So here's the thing. If having a partner is important to you, look, man, there's all kinds of people out there. I know this might sound crazy, but I think people get stuck in that whole, like, oh, women want a guy like this who has a house or whatever. And look, I'm sure a lot do, but I'm also sure there's probably, you know, plenty of women around the country who are also like, man, I kind of also want to be homeless, you know, and maybe you guys hook up and you travel around together, you know, like there's all sorts of people who want all sorts of things. So I wouldn't go out on a limb and saying that you're closed off to romantic engagements due to your situation. In fact, some people might even find that attractive, as weird as that sounds. But what were you gonna say?
No, I was just agreeing with you pretty much. We're all...
But forgetting about the sort of finding a girl part of this. Because I feel like that's sort of, as you're saying, like a distraction. What else is stopping you from doing it? Have you done any, like, worst case scenario thinking? Like, is there any case scenario where you're gonna do this and then 4 months later be like, oh, holy fuck, I'm fucking screwed? Or is it like what's the worst case scenario here?
Well, I mean, like, I've never even had a passport, if I'm being honest. So, I mean, I've been to Canada, so that's about the extent of it.
Okay.
But I'm kind of a person that I just like to go in deep with things and figure it out from there. So I'm honestly confident with what I want to experience and not really too worried about too much of worst case scenarios. Might be a problem overall. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
Really
Again, I'm not. Well, I don't know. Okay, so you say you have a tendency to dive into things without necessarily thinking them over. And you've been alive for 35 years, and I assume you've been like that for several of those years. And how has this way of operating served you in life thus far?
I've invested a lot of time and not much in return in finances and with time and energy, you know. For instance, the house that I'm in with my ex-girlfriend, I was building a studio for music production because she also does music production and stuff like that. And, you know, I invested because, you know, I was considering with her parents who own the house, actually, they were gonna, like, we were talking about renting to own and all that kind of stuff. And so I just kind of counted my chickens before they hatched and started just like tearing the room apart, rewiring, redoing all this stuff. And then before I knew it, like, things kind of ended. So
the relationship was over. And that whole, let's make a home studio, was that I'll dive into it and figure it out as we go type of thing?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, totally. Okay. I mean, even not just with the idea of doing it, but just like also like doing stuff that I had no idea how to do it, but just figuring it out as I went along.
Okay. Well, all right. You did that. It failed, but yet here you are. Do you have any? Are you in debt at all?
I mean, just with a little bit of taxes, being a 1099 and stuff like that, but nothing too insane. No.
Okay, you're not in any crazy debt. It sounds like, I don't know why I'm saying it sounds like, because this is not information I can gather from your voice, but it sounds like you have all your arms and legs. Sounds like your heart's beating. Sounds like you fucked up and you failed, but you're not dead. You don't have any kids, do you?
Right. No.
All right, you don't have any kids who rely on you.
No.
I mean,
no
what's no pets? Great. I mean, what's at stake here for you?
I mean,
really?
just my dignity from what my family and my friends see, because they reach out and be like, "What are you gonna do?" You know, and I'm just like, I'm thinking, you can just go into nomad and homeless and keeping my job and not getting involved in any drugs and not, keeping my head with a clear goal and, doing what I want to do from this point on, without any attachments. But then there's always the whole, the loneliness and I still have my looks and my youth for somewhat, like going online, I got some girls hitting on me and I'm reaching out to them and texting them back and forth. But like, I'm more into, the balance between trying to figure out if the relationship versus the freedom to doing what I want to do, like, has always been kind of a struggle for me.
Well, you've been in a relationship for about 3 years, so I don't know if your whole thing is going to want to be, let's jump back into another one, unless if you find the right person.
Yeah.
But if this is the song your heart is singing and all that hippie shit, then I feel like,
speaking of hippie shit, like the ley lines, I don't know if you've ever looked into that, but like I found that Colorado only offers a lot of work and not enough play, and I think that there's other places that will offer some more like great things for me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I'm making this about me right now, but I always think like if I got to be in this studio to do this podcast, and that's my gig right now. But I've always thought like if I didn't have any like I need to be at this place at this time type of thing, I'd probably do something similar, man. I'd go to wherever they are. I would look up, go on Colorado Craigslist and be like, hey, does anyone need me to dig a hole in the dirt for a day for enough money to get me to the next day? I mean, fuck it. It sounds like you don't have a lot to lose, which in some cases, yes, is extremely lonely, but in other cases, extremely freeing and I'm hesitant to tell you to do anything either way, but I think if it's what you want to do and you've thought it out to the point where you're like, well, I can give this a shot and I won't die,
right?
Then go for it.
I think
see what happens.
I think the path is pretty clear. But I really do put all my faith in a gecko on the screen.
Well, I hope that you know that I'm not responsible for anything that happens to you. If you take anything from this call.
Before we go, I was just one thing I've always wanted to know, because I've heard you brought it up a few times about the makeup that you wear.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you thought of any alternatives, like with technology, like how we have like green screening and stuff. Like,
people have always told me I should do some CGI thing, but I feel like that would be cheating. I feel like I need to do the paint every time, or else it's not real. But man, all kidding aside, I genuinely do wish you good luck in whatever it is that you choose to do, and I'm inspired by you as well, because I meant what I said. I also dream all the time of leaving behind all of my obligations to go travel and live the digital life. And if the only thing holding you back, if you've truly thought about this in an objective way, and the only thing holding you back is, as you say, your dignity and like what other people will think of you, I don't think that's worth a whole lot in terms of.
I don't think so either.
So
yeah.
So go with whatever you think is best. If you can remove that from the equation, your dignity and what other people think of you.
Thanks, Lyle.
For sure, man.
I really enjoyed this conversation a lot.
I enjoyed it as well. Call us back. Call us back in 6 months. Let us know where you are. Maybe you'll be in China or something. That'd be cool. Send us a postcard.
China for sure. Thailand.
Yeah, dude. All right, this is the last thing I'm gonna say. I'm gonna hang up. But I seriously, in those, I have moments of my life all the time where I imagine myself dropping everything and moving to a foreign country. And when that happens, I go to Airbnb and I go to Thailand or Vietnam or some shit, and I see these like apartments you can live in Thailand for like $300 a month or something that are super nice.
That's pretty much why I'm thinking it. It's beautiful. It's cheap. It's everything that I want.
Yeah.
And my ley lines, I was mentioning that my ley lines go there, and it's just like everything that says go there versus here it just says work, work, work.
Yeah. Go to Thailand. Go to Thailand. See if you can get a job digging a hole or whatever it is, enough to pay the rent for your $200 a month apartment, and feel the sun on your skin and breathe the air and see what you can make out of that.
Hell yeah.
Beautiful. Talk to you soon, Steve.
Bye.
See, I don't know. This is why again, I'm the king of having an advice podcast where I disclaim that I don't give advice, but man, I really felt that guy, man. I mean it. I think all the time about that kind of shit. Like, just being a nomad. Right? Because you only, like, if we want to get into our sort of ethereal headspace, you really do only live one life. And I don't know about you guys, but I want to try to see as many things as I can see before I die. And, I mean, that's a luxury. Not a lot of people get to do that. A lot of people, are sort of bound to staying in one place at one time. But I don't know. We have so many opportunities thanks to the internet. There's couch surfing. There's WeWork. There's not WeWork. What's the fucking Workaway? There's Workaway. There's Craigslist, where you really can just like go to a place, go on the internet, find a gig, find a fucking place to live, and then just walk around. I really would like to believe that unless if you go to jail for a long time or get somebody pregnant and have a child or get pregnant yourself and have a child, you can kind of do whatever. All you got to do is not die at the end of the day. If Steve can accomplish his goals and not have a child, not go to jail, and not die, he'll be fine. He mentioned the only thing that was fucking with him was what people thought of him, but that's a fake thing. Dying, having a child, going to jail, all very real things. But what your parents think of you and what your friends think of you, I would say is not. Hello?
Hi.
Hey, is this Millie?
It is Millie.
Millie, how is life? What is life like for Millie?
Life is shit for Millie, but we're not going to talk about that today. We're talking about something else.
Okay, beautiful. What are we talking about?
So I haven't set foot in a Taco Bell in over 10 years. And I really want to eat Taco Bell again. So as a kid, I used to frequent Taco Bell a lot. But I guess this was just one of those days where we went in, we ordered, we ate, and then I came home and everything was going fine. I was like playing on the couch with my brother and my sister, and I just projectile vomited all over my sister. And ever since that happened to me at the age of 11, I've been deathly afraid of eating Taco Bell.
Because you're afraid that you will once again projectile vomit upon someone?
Yes. Yes.
So why do you crave Taco Bell if you believe it will make you projectile vomit?
Well, I've just been seeing these ads for Taco Bell. Like, people talk about the Baja
Goddamn
Blast.
right, I've been seeing these ads for Taco Bell. They're amazing. They
and
work.
the Dorito Loco Taco and some crispy chicken tender taco recently. And I've missed out on the quesarito, the nacho
Quesarito
fries.
slaps. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I've
well,
missed
okay.
out
Well,
on a
Millie.
lot.
Well, Millie. I mean, what's stopping you from? Okay, so you're. Okay, first of all, before we get deeper into this conversation, is this real? Is this a serious thing?
This is real. Like, I can't do it. Like, I can't even go in like a Taco Bell drive-thru without wanting to vomit. Like, I can't do it.
Why don't you have somebody else bring you the food or order it?
I can't even smell it. Like, I can't do it. And I see people eat it. Like, I can see, like, online, like the mukbang, like on YouTube. I envy people who eat Taco Bell and like.
So okay, so all right, so you can watch people eat it both in real life. Can you, if somebody's next to you eating it, will that gross you out?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know what I'm having trouble understanding your, like, this is one of the most contradictory things I think I've ever heard. That you're insanely grossed out by Taco Bell. If you smell it, you want to throw up. If someone's near you, you're grossed out. But as much as you are grossed out by it, you desire
I still want to eat it.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I know, but I have to eat it. It's like I have to, but I physically can't. And I've tried. I've tried like just walking into a Taco Bell and I walk right back out. It's like I can't even get a drink.
Millie, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth because I've eaten a lot of Taco Bell, and I don't. Here's the thing, and I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, I've eaten a lot of Taco Bell, and I don't regret a single trip I have ever taken to Taco Bell. When I am on my deathbed and my life flashes before my eyes, and I'm watching a reel of probably a lot of stuff that I won't be proud of. But when the parts of my life in which I'm sitting in a Taco Bell drive-thru pass by that reel, okay, I will smile. I will be happy. But Millie.
Yes.
You can live life without it. In fact, I feel like there's a chance for your life to be better with the absence of Taco Bell. And I think you got to embrace that, Millie.
Okay.
But Millie, you can't focus on what you've missed out on, okay? There's plenty of other good food options out there. There's Del Taco. There's non-taco related fast food, whatever, Chick-fil-A, Jack in the Box, Sonic. There's all sorts of there's a whole world of cuisine out there, Millie, outside of just Taco Bell. And the more time you spend fixating on what you cannot have, the more you will be obsessed with it, the more it will ruin you. So I encourage you to widen your field of vision and embrace the other options that are in front of you, because if you're so narrow focused on the Taco Bell, you won't see the A&W right next to the Taco Bell, which has delicious chicken sandwiches and milkshakes, and you can dip the chicken sandwich in the milkshake and you can eat that. So I encourage you not to focus on the options unavailable to you, but instead to take merriment and experience wonder at the options that are.
Yeah, but it's like, did you ever eat a Dorito Loco taco? The Dorito taco.
I have eaten a Doritos Locos taco.
Are they good? I want
phenomenal.
People say they're good, but
no, they're amazing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, they're great. Put some mild sauce on there. It's fantastic. It's the best thing I've ever eaten. But Millie, you'll be fine without it.
I'll be okay without it. But man,
thank you for calling, Millie.
It's just all right. Thank you, Gecko.
Chris.
Hello, Geck.
How are you, Chris?
I'm all right. Honestly, it's like the middle of the semester right now, and it could be better.
It's the middle of the semester. What do you study?
Study animal science at in America, and like the pursuit of being a veterinarian.
You're trying to be a veterinarian. The veterinarian thing is interesting to me because it's sort of a catch-22, where in order to become a veterinarian, you have to like animals. But also, in order to become a veterinarian, you have to watch animals die every day.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's like you want to save animals and stuff, but like, you can't be a hero. And I'm like a believer in leave no trace, like with Boy Scouts and stuff.
Sure.
And like part of that is like respecting the life cycle of the universe. And like whenever it's time for an animal to go, it's just time for them to go.
Yep.
And like you're there to facilitate that. So like you can live with the fact that the animal's dying, but you can also make it like comfortable on its way out.
Right. No, there's definitely a lot of pride to be had in doing that job of keeping an animal comfortable as it's passing.
Yeah, it's like respecting the life cycle. You know,
this is interesting. So, sorry. So you seem to have a very objective, relaxed take on death in general, right? Leave no trace. So to leave no trace includes dying. Like, you have to die as a necessary element of leaving no trace. Because living forever is kind of like littering with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like leaving your mark on the world in a way. Like, because you're just like a 600-year-old tree.
Yeah.
You're there.
So how is this perspective that you have on animals and how death is just factoring into a great cycle and, you know, all that jizz? How has that impacted your thoughts on your own death?
On my own death, the way I see it is, like, I try to keep a lot of things in terms of, like, valuable things. Like, if I lose something, I lose it. But I don't try to hoard things. I feel like hoarding is something that, like, every religion kind of taboos. Like, a big thing was, like, the seventh or whatever sin. With greed, like, hoarding things just isn't right. So, like, kind of just, like, having that detachment of, like, it's just an item. It is what it is. And, like, you're going to die one day and you're not going to have it. I think that's something to take away from all of those things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a stoic philosophy, having very little attachments to possessions or really anything outside of yourself, or even yourself, because, you know, your friends, your family, your possessions, your statuses, none of that's coming with you where you're going.
For real. But, like, you can't always plan on where you're going. And I think that's something to, like, push for, like, having bucket list goals. Like, right now, I'm checking off a bucket list, talking to this gecko. This is cool.
Yeah, it's cool talking to you too, Chris. I like your I like your voice. You're very dreamy.
I'm dreamy. I've had a long day. I've been up since like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, whatever your tired voice is very dreamy.
Oh, thank you. I don't know. I'm kind of cold right now. It's like 20 degrees outside. My apartment complex, it isn't very well insulated.
Well, that's your... by the way, take note of this, because these are your variables. Next time you're about to go on a date, make sure you're very tired and very cold. And they'll find that very attractive. So... Oh, crap. You were saying something, and then I interrupted you with all that stuff. What the fuck were you saying? About death.
I just know
right, your bucket list. Okay, your bucket list. All right, so talking to me is on your bucket list. Check. What else? What else we got on there?
What else do I have on my bucket list? I wanna publish a paper in academia. That's a bucket list item.
That's a good one. Kind of boring.
Yeah,
because
I'm a sophomore.
To each their own.
I'm a sophomore in college right now.
Oh, I said it's kind of boring, but to each their own.
Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of something I look up to, like, to have something so well thought out and then documented and then permanently out there. Not like in the sense of in the natural environment, but like out there for future generations to read and like pick up on. Even if it's something like super minuscule. You know? I don't even think I said that right.
Minute. No. I'm fucking with you when I said it was boring. But no, I see the value in that.
I can back it up. I don't think it's boring. I think it's cool as shit.
Anything else? All right. So you want to you want to publish a paper in academia? I mean that could take a while doing that. So that's a big one. You probably got room for like.
I'm working on.
You probably got room for like 2 other things you can do before you die. What are we gonna do with those? With those 2 other things.
So, I like to pick up trash, like whenever I'm walking to class and stuff. I want to pick up somebody's like mobile order, like, you know, like that you get from Starbucks. I want to prank call them.
You basically want to like drive DoorDash.
No. Like if somebody's littering, like if they litter their like Starbucks drink, and like I'm walking to class and it's on the sidewalk, I pick it up, I dial their phone number, and I prank call them.
It's a very specific item. Do people put their phone number on their Starbucks cups? Is that a thing?
I know, like whenever you order DoorDash, like on the receipt, it'll have the phone number.
Oh, okay. So if somebody litters a receipt, you want to prank call them?
Yeah.
What would your prank call be? Do you have one in particular set up?
I'd have to think of it in the moment. I don't want to have it like filled with rage, because like I don't like whenever people litter. But I feel like whenever you're mad at somebody, you're just encouraging the behavior.
You know, I agree with that. You got a good head on your shoulders. I agree with that. You're not coming in here with rage, because nobody. Name me one person that's ever responded well to just getting cussed at or screamed at or whatever. It's never a convincing way of being.
For real.
But you do need to come up with something, because what's going to happen is you're going to call this number being like, I'll just think of it in the moment, and then they'll go hello, and you'll go, fuck you, and then you'll hang up, and you'll be like, I should have planned something.
I think I would have. I think honestly, speaking about it, I would pretend that I was the restaurant they ordered from.
Ooh, okay, I like where this is going.
Like, hey, like say they ordered like a caramel frap. Mm-hmm. Hey, that caramel frap we gave you, yeah, we actually put Gorilla Glue in it instead of like the caramel
like
topping.
this.
Or like, hey, you forgot this, and then like make them go to the store and then act like a fool. That would be funny.
I like. Okay, that's a pretty good one. The gorilla. Yeah, see, the Gorilla Glue one. If someone called me saying, "Hey, we put Gorilla Glue in your Frappuccino," I'd be like, I don't know what the fuck this is. But saying, "Oh, hey, you forgot something," that's a good one. Wastes a little bit of their time, but not a fully egregious attack.
Maybe like
I think that's a balanced prank. Right. You got your credit card, or it can't be their credit. It's got to be something, because then they would check, and their credit card's there, or I don't know. But you know what? You got the gist of this down.
It's kind of like guiding karma. It's like facilitating karma.
Yes, you're a karmatic enforcer.
Not to be like self-righteous like that. Like I don't feel like
you can
I'm
be
better
self-righteous.
than somebody that litters. But I got a bucket list, dude.
What'd you say? Your name was Chris?
Yeah,
Chris. It's been fun ideating on your death with you, and thinking of things that you can do before you die.
Yeah, I died with it. Honestly, I watch One Piece, and like a big thing is like with the Will of D, you got to welcome death with a smile. I think I can do that.
Yeah,
like I've almost died before.
How'd you almost die before?
I had a smile on my face while I was doing it.
How'd you almost die before?
You want it in 15 seconds?
Yeah, I'd love it in 15 seconds.
All right, so I was driving a four-wheeler on a like gravelly road, and they just built some windmills, and there was a cliff that they built, and I didn't know the cliff was there, and I was going like 40 miles an hour, and I went off the cliff, hit a rock, and I was stuck under the four-wheeler for like an hour.
See, I just call a four-wheeler a car.
It's
I've never really used the term
like
four-wheeler.
Like, think like a go-kart, but beefy.
Oh, it's an ATV?
Yeah.
I
like the handlebar.
maybe this isn't what you wanted me to get out of that story, but I really think that they should use a different term than four-wheeler, because there are a very broad range of vehicles that have four wheels.
It's a four-wheeler that has four wheels.
Yes, I know.
If it was or like if it was like a go-kart that has five wheels, the steering wheel.
Okay, but my car is a four-wheeler.
No, your car's a six-wheeler. It has a spare in the trunk. It has a steering wheel.
You know what? I don't have a spare wheel. I don't have a spare wheel in the trunk, but I do have a steering wheel, so I guess you are right. But does the 4-wheeler that you're talking about, does that have a steering wheel?
No, it has a handlebar.
I'll talk to you soon, Chris.
Take care, Geck. Stay gecky.